Hi, I'm Steve with Old English Outfitters, and today we're going to start a new series on guns of history, and we're going to start with the Walther P38. The P38 replaced the Luger. The Luger was a standard issued sidearm in World War I and was still being used in the first couple of years of World War II. The gun was extremely difficult to manufacture, time-consuming, lots of parts, a lot of precision-moving parts, and it was also susceptible to dirt and grime causing malfunctions. It was also a single-action gun, so there was no hammer that you could drop by just simply pulling the trigger. A replacement was needed. The German military required a new pistol to replace the old Luger, and they had some stipulations. They wanted a hammer, they wanted a double action, single action, and they wanted a safety decocker. And this is what Walther came up with. This P38 was built in 1943 by the Mauser Corporation. They were contracted to make some of these pistols during World War II because Walther couldn't make them fast enough. The P38 has some pretty interesting features that, for a gun that was started as manufacturing in 1938, we would call standard features that we would expect to find on firearms, handguns today. This gun is a locked breech gun. It has a falling locking block on the barrel. It has a takedown lever that stays in the frame. It's captured. It does not come out easily. It has a slide that stays open after its last shot with a slide release, and it has a safety decocker that decocks the hammer and disengages the trigger when it's engaged. This gun also has a loaded chamber indicator that sticks out of the back of the slide that you can feel in the dark and you can actually see when there's a round in the chamber. This gun was so advanced for its time that many guns that came afterwards were simply copies or versions of this style. The Smith & Wesson 39 that was sold in 1955, starting in 1955, and was developed in 1949, has a lot of similarities to this gun. The Beretta 1951 or Model 51 has a lot of the same features that were borrowed from this gun. The Beretta then 92 and M9 were versions of this gun. If you can picture this slide extended all the way to the end of the barrel, it looks a lot like a Beretta 92 or an M9. And as we know, the M9 became the standard military issue sidearm for the United States. So to have guns that far into the future that had the same features and same design as this gun that was made in '38 is remarkable in my opinion. The takedown of this gun is a little bit different than modern firearms in that it has twin recoil springs. So if I was going to take this gun apart to show you what makes it tick, I would follow the same principles as any other firearm in making sure that it was unloaded. We can see that it's an open breech up here where this entire area is cut out, so there's no real ejection port cut into the side of the slide. The whole top's open. I can see into the chamber that there's no round, so therefore what I can do is, while the slide's back, I can pull this lever all the way down until it locks in position. I then release the slide with the slide release. I lower the trigger, or the hammer down with the trigger, and the upper comes disconnected from the lower. As you can see here, we have two recoil springs located on either side of the firearm frame. And we also have the slide here with the falling block barrel. So what makes this gun unique, it's not a blowback design. When you fire the gun, the barrel and slide move back a small amount until this block that you can see here falls down and locks into the frame, holding the barrel from moving any further. The slide continues its rearward movement all the way until it ejects the spent case, and then the two recoil springs bring the slide forward, stripping a new round from the magazine and chambering it. Now, of course, when it does that, it leaves the hammer in the cock position as the slide just pushed the hammer back, and it stays there, and all you would have to do then is pull the trigger and keep doing this until the magazine was empty. So let me put this gun back together real quick. We're going to take the slide, and we're going to simply engage the barrel into the appropriate grooves. And we're going to turn it upside down until it's locked. Make sure it's locked just like this. Then we're simply going to engage the grooves on the slide with the rails on the frame, cock it, flip our lever back up, release the slide, and now we're back together. So one of the really neat aspects of this gun, not to mention the fact that you can restrike, so if you would have a dud, you could pull the hammer several times without having to clear around like the 1911 that we were using in World War II, or even a revolver that you couldn't do that with. You could restrike that as many times as you want. If you were cocked and ready to fire and the situation was you didn't need to fire, you would simply pull this lever down, which not only was a safety, but it was also the decocker. So when I pull that down, it disengages the hammer, disengages the trigger, and of course if I flip it back up, it re-engages both. These were new features for the P38. There were no other guns manufactured prior to this that had all of these features on one firearm. There's no doubt that that's the reason why this gun has been copied over and over and over, and we can still see the influence of this gun on all kinds of firearms today. So in conclusion, that was the Walther P38, my personal favorite World War II gun from Germany. You really can't appreciate where we're at unless you know where we've come from. In terms of gun design, the P38 has shaped so many guns that we now see in the gun cases in our familiar gun stores. Neat gun, neat features, just a wonderful gun all the way around. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next week.